Okay. I'm going.
I'm pulling up the doc. Give me a second.
Oh. Retract that. Good.
Cool.
Quick question. Your paradigm says you don't like theory. When you say theory, does that include T?
Yeah, but like I'm more open to T. I just don't have proof theory. Like I just like beyond that. That's your go-to. It's a round robin. Go for it.
We begin our 1AC with the question, what can a body do? The answer is not the visible, but in the unseen. The undercurrents of ethics were divergence from our members of the Spinozas. We try and say the image of truth and find ourselves surrounded in the modest hypothesis and orientation, which use everything as an extension of everything else. Humans, animals, and rocks appear as all just forms of matter, which is a larger modes of a larger essence called nature. Nature is the force forever unknowable, except and also that which is meaning. The self-being becomes a translation of parts and wholes. Our minds create illusions. The stability of structure, these distinctions, but these interpretations are always influenced by our perspective, and ultimately roughly by the totality of nature. Hence in 12. Conceive a worm living blood of larger organism. This worm is able to distinguish the individual particles of blood. The worm would live in the blood as we do the universe. We consider the blood as a whole. The worm is unable to see the bloodstream as a whole to recognize the blood containing the blood as a whole. The perspective of the observer has never determined with viewed parts of the whole bodies in nature are to be understood in the same way. But in all of an individual must be basic contextual understanding and to destructure by our limited mind, seeking to structure our experience and complete understanding of required knowledge of interrelations that we can never know. And from this hypothesis be the answer of a question that answered all but said a new question, which asks what can a body become in a single should engage with the world only the features of possessing characterized by canadas, the trend here, drive for self-preservation that resides in everything, the way in which I continue the speech or the table controlled by computer describes the way forms, not simply still hold the matter that they occupy, identity thus emerges society of experimentation. The self is not isolated from the totality of nature, but rather immersed within nature, different itself, given the grounds for a shared singularity, sharp and alone. Just trying to be observe some average tables, not your approximate tables, perseverance by virtue of a unique arrangement among its parts, rulers, its integrity of its other ambient bodies, and its name singularity, unique each thing which accounts for the diversity of things in nature, can add a state of power to arrange, must maintain a constant flow of exchanges. And the question of ethics is thus one of movement all forth about diversity, recognizing that their trajectories undetermined the human form navigates the desired economy, subjectivity to make the human domination over nature, the sweeting agency denies relation out of the subject and antagonism, which produces ego as violence, must thus renaturalize identity and from our agency is unique, but minuscule part of the totality that is nature, sharp. And two. Desire describes striving to believe minorities about what we desire probably by imagination, notion, and reality, desire for human use and enjoyment, analysis, not covered by achievement, driven to confirm self-authority, we desire advantage, however, desire not thwarted by the other needs of the body of the world, try to satisfy desire rather than socialized desire, which naturalized become an active light of being, but is running part of nature, desire, come to defeat its coordination of strength and vitality, relation to other liberating relations, not achieved through establishing relationship, which we represent one another more satisfying way, treated one would appreciate their agency, the influence surpassed by the totality of other natural beings. Thus, these stated role of the balance holding politics around renaturalization has become a sheer disenchantment and motivation, which disrupts the attempt to our identity and permit instead the beauty found in the illuminati. This politics is the only tangible resistance strategy left for deviant flesh. Winter in 87. Where we accept discourse and incorporating our weighted up with some less burden 0 degrees signifies becoming more equal than functioning rather than the component of negative ontological category derived by liminality science of a new discourse liminal subject able to experience varying degrees of the justice where we're able to disenchant subjects from prescriptions interactive science generated from descriptive statements of man the world of minority is socially generated from groups who accept liminality systematically functioning oriented to give for acting a critical eye on the world of forbidden true discourse within the organization rational that card is bracketed for clarity. Now only this translates to the general discourse of anything else is cruelly optimistic shaper. 13. Texts are by bodies meshing their political world, trying to negotiate the world in distinct ways. Affect theory explores the knowledge of bodies outside purely theoretical debates of reasoning, location, language, affect, matter, elsewhere, the sovereign culture, the significance of debate, activity through optimism, versus what you desire is actually absolutely flourishing and fantasy of good life, a political project happens, the missing link, the discursive between the body, the present is not as simple to text, and knowledge as well as discursive description, but it felt sense with political circumstances, verge optimism, mind, body, fantasy of good life, possibility of debate, and beyond to be defeated by condition of the emergent affect theory, offers resource thinking about the relation to the body, and discourses. Now, we'll defend the United States on autocratic military aid authoritarian regime or consider the process which the desire for this action is produced. We'll spec as little much as you want me to insert a list of general things will default to defend it. Our dance with the resolution picks up in the chapels of the Roman Empire, where war became a fight not over objects, but substituted itself out of the flames of the chapel. There was the figure of man being defined by its superiority. The resolution's proposition of military from the Western world is a mathematic of man's gaze, a tool which employs visibility in the transformation of difference into a site of occupation. We thus affirm an interruption to advanced global apparatus, or call which embraces the potential relation and deconstructs systems, domination, spawners. Command is the basis of domination, transforms being into territory to be occupied. It is only possible through the strongest surrounding others. The ability to oversee is to dominate, seeing is not passive, it is an action. Putting everything in its proper place, I oversaw, I conquered victories with the fact that the Cartesian gaze that dominates others. Should they try to rise to the command, will be brought down. Those who are brought down and fall, reach up and give them the boundaries taken out by the dominators. Peace will be achieved only in total colonization of the other Western imperialism produced by truth, evident in metaphysical ontology, informed by visual problematic Western consciousness, transforms it into a territory, perceives orders and others from different intelligible given to every event it encounters. This call for movements against domination is an investigation that networks of domination. The placement of being over nature in the 21st century is morphed to the power of liberalism, a kind of self-information which idealizes life toward a never-ending drive to production as a result of a cleansing of difference where identity becomes war and the other becomes enemy. Life and stem. Liberalism is coming to Christ, continuous recourse, where predicated on elimination of different four pieces of men of the more player, the matter between the matter is the life itself, liberalism gains a mastery by pushing questions life and death, the will, ambition by a political paradigm for the unification of species, violence, can only be sanctioned against one identity, threat, power, others exist to inside, to be produced the ontological limit, here, somebody from the political boundary, in the end. In conclusion, we ask the judge strengths in the fragmented Cartesian model of analysis, postponed them in favor of Spinoza's transplanetary great truth, the British structure of academia, to man difference, Scorsese, and ambition becoming other, Hampton 2. Methodology must be rooted in philosophy, explaining how we can ancient all about things. The world's Spinoza's philosophy finds an object of specific foundation that are essential to stated delineation. The framework is based on a view of the world, the complex whole that is knowable through awareness and functional relation, Cartesian method, problem solving, partial cultural rights, understanding quest reform, interaction, avoid transcendentality, open concentration, and artificially imposed boundaries, academic structure, facility, medieval dialogue. And we reject dominant narratives for trauma that construct our subjectivity being in place of himself by nature, dreams that fantasizes that is acted and enacted ontological ratio of the oppressed. This fantasy relies on the oppressor as a complete control of being renaturalization, firms the relation, even if violence can never master relief from your relation, we have the possibility of new forms, subjectivity to merge, Gordon, 14 brackets and original. No culture was ever finished by the permanent openness, real light events, and converging tradition, setting up a durable liberty, and from 49 to be able to listen past transits, rather exclusion, archipelago, regularity, life, relativity, not produces direct into forging, manifesting, realized pictures, the application of everyone's self-return, works, unique capacity, socialized, their career witness, city, develop a range of strategy for presenting themselves as different failures, combined antagonistic population, cultural, racial, linguistic, dignity, and emerged modes of personhood to be celebrated. That's affirmed.
How can your framework explain, or why does your framework explain, how can your framework explain what they do?
Yeah, so racism would be an instance of domination, which we deny.
It's domination.
Yeah, so I feel like facing that is a claim that we're all the same, and we deny that kind of sameness.
But anything that rejects sameness is domination.
So let's not get too linguistic about that here. I give a very simple explanation. Obviously,
It's not like I
Yeah,
want to
no,
know
so-
what the app means. You say domination is bad.
yeah. So things that
It's
deny relationality, obviously.
What's relationality? Like
Yeah, so the ability,
like buzzwords, but I want to know like what
Yeah,
that means.
I don't really feel like these are buzzwords. I mean, I think you know what relation means. And so to say that I am somehow better than you as an inherent part of my being, i.e. racism, would deny the fundamental part of our being that we are all just forms of the same
What
matter.
about instances of material items of racism? Like
Yeah, those are instances of domination. So I think our Evans evidence gives some pretty good. I think both our Gordon and our Evans evidence really well explain things like racism in the way that a society has constructed. What? Sorry.
do you have consequences?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, how do we know that these instances of material domination are bad then?
Yeah, so it's the paradigm. I think our framework justifies it's the question of paradigm of ethics that we're employing, right? So our framework makes two claims about the world. First is a descriptive claim that says that.
Question, sorry. Can we? Is it under the AC framework? Can we isolate an identity or a category of people?
No, people can be different
Okay, then
identities.
how is it possible under the app to identify racism?
Yeah. So I think
When we see a white
Can I
police
answer your
officer marginalizing a black person, if we can't
Can I
understand those as
answer?
distinct identities.
Can I answer?
Sure.
Okay. So our framework makes so things like race, obviously in our perception of different beings holding different so it's the question of different forms holding matter in different ways. So in the way that differences do exist, there are different races in the world. That doesn't deny the fundamental aspect that the essence of our being is still the same. So our framework is not disputing that there are certain perceived differences. In fact, I think our Hansen evidence explains that our minds create illusions of necessary difference, i.e. Differences between races, but these differences do not deny a fundamental sameness. there are
Okay.
degrees of differences
So-
in the way that forms whole.
So the way I understand it is we have a fundamental sameness, but we can still base our movements and our actions on like these external differences.
No, to base a movement on a particular
Isn't
identity
that what,
and
like,
reactionary to a dominant identity, we would say is bad because it denies the relationality between those identities and structures that same paradigm of domination.
Uh, What's renaturalization?
Yeah, so that's a form of politics which affirms the potential of our shared fundamental essence, and tears down structures that would deny the potential for that relation. So if you're looking, it's just like renaturalize, reaffirm ourselves in nature.
Alright, there it is.
You have something labeled as T, but it looks like a K. Is that
Yeah, it's okay. I switched it out until last second. So,
Yeah.
is anyone not ready? The state isn't the innocent hero they make it out to be. It's a dangerous joker that waits to parade a dark ring on the innocent as long as they take action in the context of the state's new to maintain capitalist machine, especially in the context of promoting rights and especially in the context of providing aid and democratization, etc. What all the reason military happens right now, even if the options gave the word their spines and maximizing economic growth, that's evidence social power looking the militarization of rights and claiming individuals, members of society rules and the state to oversee existing order for guaranteeing fair play rules of being around to the initiation and to transform society the form political processes representing states, losers, state more concerned property appropriation, exploitation, securitization, domination, particular economic concern act according to the text, but relation of the values, the only reason entities like the United States that provide aid to governments like the one that isolating the affirmative is because they see things like profit et cetera, and those are the reasons things like imperialism and capitalism rise in the first place, which means that behind the guise of the one you see, there's just always going to be a capitalist agenda, and capitalism causes war, violence, and violence, which are extinction that struggles in every survival requires a religion against capitalism. Sense of everything ecological limits of human economics, altering systems, there's that transfer between capitalism, specifically like commodification, nature, inequalities, and precedent, and trust competition involves a manipulation of fear, security, among own, with mobile social anxiety, standards of the escape route, communities, human equality, requires a true balance from repression to warfare, and weapons, satellite, surveillance, cyber war, and so forth, with reaching the limits of expansion and allowing territory significance and integrity. The alternative to reject capitalism mindset of the companies that ultimately resurrect themselves because our pyramids and better brain concept of capitalism means that the ultimate escape destructive ideology of the non-related to capitalism and reject all things associated things, yes, solves the deficits or just uniqueness from our alternative any remaining limits are no reason why the affiliates is in each capitalism, the reason why pyramids are always going to fail that shows in the most important negatively critical certainty to capitalist ideology of based for mentioning alternative state situation where you think concept online or career restrictions has a potential of greater revolution in practice of variety of currencies resistance to that value real capitalism. All the mere belief in the parts are an obstacle to the capitalist system exists because of such and central belief in their both balance capacity and reject with capitalism as impact society. Well, obviously saying that will make it liberalism, the spirit version of the systems against capitalism around activism because start forming strategies to attack that have on the static and alley for ethical political responsibilities and for violence to capitalism, national organization, and such a with the force of capitalism concealed onto gentrification, capitalism, and the violence, vast sectors of world population is being constant. There are some popular great large economic activity that existing economic rationality, chill exclusion and maintenance by the distribution, magnify the capitalism, capitalizing, ingesting the internet, says negativity to regards to non-technical original through culture differentiation, and the old formation, and this arguments first learn a lot AC wing. AC offense, when the absent also starts from the wrong point, doesn't empty logically, and that means that your offense is back into the capitalist machine. Also, if I prove that the alt solves back or resolves the impacts of the affirmative under the alt groups, also a reason why it no longer becomes a question of comparative weighting, but rather which method of the alt all is the case where a better explanation root cause the AC impacts specifically mean you had negative aware about things like differentiation, naturalization, all start yourself your own evidence is that it all starts with this tendency towards self, so towards like survival and domination, etc. But my framing explains why there are the reasoning behind those things like domination and the reason why the U.S. intervenes in countries in the first place, which means it's a prerequisite to understanding why domination comes in the first place. And third, even if you say, actually skip the third, fourth argument, the same maximizing calculation for the first percent with the and top right hand side is having for between oscillation theory and standard consequent cause possible for consequentialism and explanation for both races increasing conversation or exact logical theories. Your person that follows actions among available alternatives and embodiments of primal principle principles of the end self outcomes for lines from the understanding embodiment of moral justice and the actual effect and it's contested avoid contested issue outcomes meaningful debate directly to ideological state exacerbate responsibility human development and skip the parameter self contains personal identity that thinks of psychological evidence and alcohol things are not considered that but change themselves are so keep yourself as strangers there's a more active activate subjects of themselves they describe themselves as negative similar than they describe on the same thing themselves as someone else hard to do making report to people and it's really feel the person is continuing to doesn't matter if I could such sharing with people support details don't maximize the medical work distribution across people also in institutes like there's an actor spec argument used for governments for actors for resolution multiple ones for governments and high percent of repulse benefits and harms others which also means actors to be acting people and support in the team actions are always inevitably more effective concern amounts of meaning consequences of collective harm to will and non-consequential persons. Different nations have different ethical standings about use of health and activity and accident concerns. The action also outweighs the validity of the AC framework arguments because the ethics needs to be in the context of the agent it is applied to, i.e., even if the AC framework is true when applied to something like the rock, which means Dirk says independently of the prior ethical question. And next off, Trump's support high now is the base of Perryman. 1021 Trump's approval rating just prior to the long selection of support the polls put around had 90% approval rating on the Republicans. That voting obstacle Trump's given up in space that with his what one president really statement referring support that ran yes to the petition. It also supporting Trump's first forms of side reasons why support the largely unconditional characters more young parts of the world, American and European and I started reading and feel about to section and president regards to the given organization I ran this society for is a hobby charts and allies was awareness of the obvious that this is never going to increase the romance, even since it applied in the context of the area that the app defends. So it still proves like a general principle that whenever we were talking things like military, that Trump himself has sent out or has agreed is a good idea that that makes his supporters or his base thinks that he's or has his weakness, he no longer can pursue his political militarization, and that loss of support caused diversionary trade war. 1087 when we start voting problems with the escalating conflicts and most large economies, political pressure, Trump's political capital, the White House, and Trump's focus and intention common and distract consolidation, turning up the Russia in terms of turning to political and support the president trade war diversion leads into before and escalates conflict extension to currency 21 they starts ensure political recession territory holds for national conflicts in World War II and Trump's to spark trade which includes geopolitical tension present in vicious aggressive response to Trump and illegal arbitrary altered global trade aliens literature tried to trade more for the US terms sorry for global stability. Imagine what happened also condition making more sense from the primary theory both the independent economic system policy being exacerbated and certain means for instance since you higher priority cross control more sense than the solving user for uncertain that's a great value preserving ability working on serious future for the future command best way to increase future value to proper to the piece of evidence versus if it therefore collapses the only reason we understand things domination through the severity of consequences, i.e. if I punch not as bad as things like release brutality, etc. The only way we can differentiate between those actions was is the consequences they have. Second, that also proves that something like categorization is example must be cooperative in ethics, which means a point that the Oprah evidence and the NC proves that our frameworks are not mutually exclusive, but the link differential is that insofar as categorization is possible and that we can base our actions on categorization, i.e. we can understand that a white police officer brutalizing a black man is bad, and we can understand that differentiation between those two identities is essential to understanding the action, i.e. the action that we take, i.e. going against those things. Also, yeah.
Wait, can I just clarify what you read? On the utility, you read actor spec.
Yeah.
And then did you read the
I didn't read. Sorry, what? I didn't read parameters, and I read an actor spec argument, which I said I sent after.
Brace, but you read the Bracy argument, yes?
Yes.
And did you accept anything before the Bracy argument?
No.
Okay. All right. And then you read everything else except for the third and fourth analytic of the K.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
I'm just sending it back.
Okay.
It's okay if I just put in the body.
Yeah, you can just email, but like in the text. Cool. You ready? Which comes first? The roll of ballot you read on the cafe or like your util framework?
I don't think their frameworks are mutually exclusive.
Wait, so if we win our roll of ballot, what does that mean for util?
So util I think is a side constraint on the F framing. So if you win your framing, you had to win that it excludes the NC. So we have to have a debate essentially.
So does one come first? Does the roll of, so I'm confused. You're saying they operate at equal levels? Because it seems like your roll of ballot, like if we want an extinction impact coming out of the act, would your cap argument exclude that impact? Yes or no?
No, it would become a question of the point.
So you're saying your roll of ballot which says reject capitalism in every instance is just a form of consequentialism.
I could use that framing argument as weighing, i.e. cap still comes first.
So your roll of ballot filters like particular consequences that matter. So it's a side constraint.
I think
on
most roll ballots.
So our roll of ballot would also filter what offense matters, even if consequentialism is true. Yes. Like theoretically, if we were to.
I'm not really sure.
You're saying
I think that
your roll of ballot.
I think that like goes
Okay,
two
that's
ways.
fine, that's
Either
fine.
consequential is
Um,
truth. And
Yeah, cool. Can you explain to me what the link to the K is?
So there's I guess two. First is like it's the actor, the app, the advocacy, the app. Yeah, I guess that's generally the only link. Essentially, the argument that the reason things like military aid exists is because countries like the U.S. Only
Can you read me that line that says like?
no that.
Is
So
that
so the card itself is like just a statement.
So this
right?
is just an assertion that you're making, that the only reason the
No,
military.
that was an
is-
explanation in the context of, or
So what
you know
line
how
in the
when
card
people
would
read a
justify
K, they read the
This
link
seems
and
to
then they
just say
point out a
that-
specific link from the app.
That the state,
There's okay, so that's
like,
so
I
you
don't
want
see
me
a
to explain
warrant
it?
in this. Okay, that's fine. What does it mean to vote on the alternative?
It means that we endorse a methodology that rejects capitalism.
Yeah, well, what specific methodology is it? I know you said that methodologies that do that are good, but what methodology have you employed that rejects
I
capitalism?
think the first thing I would do is that reject the mindset that the app brings into the round.
So, okay,
second
what
is
does it
that-
mean to, what is it, in instances of material violence as a result of like domination or things like military aid, as we've contextualized it, what does it mean in terms of the alternative then? How does the alternative resolve those
we
instances?
address issues that perpetuate a
How?
neoliberal agenda that allow that material balance.
Yeah, no, but how would you what strategy does the alt employ?
The app doesn't isolate a specific movement, a specific strategy. It just says that, or it's just an orientation towards the strategies that we take.
Okay, that's fine.
And I think the
Yeah,
feedback
I'm taking prep.
Okay.
Minute 31. There's 2 cards. I'm just gonna send them in the email, the text. Oh, Whitley, can you give this to Grayson? He left this at the car. Oh, and the order is K descend.
Second kid pull up.
Are the cards gonna be read on the desktop?
Okay, that's ready. Josh, you good?
Our standards of holding politics supernaturalization are beings located within totality of nature, all forms constituted by the same larger essence. This produces a relationality inherent to everything. To deny this inherent relationality, to deny the potential for ethical life because it denies the fundamental nature of our essence as our standard. Tears down the walls of domination that deny this inherent relationality. Now, the thesis of our contention is the termination of military aid and active nationalization. Military aid is synonymous with Western engagements, post-activity on non-Western flights with denied relation structures, ethical relations hierarchy that demand the existence of human only for a relational position. Can we overcome the paradigm of different ways in our evidence of domination force based variants and the violence individual the more specific impacts, i.e. the dissent and the critique, all forms of violence are evidence is an explanation of why these forms of violence exist in the first place, which means our affirmative is either A, prerequisite to solving the potential for all the violence of your offs to in the first place, or B point has a larger impact because literally every single piece of violence in the world is caused where affirmative is conceded would cause argument to you that you can't answer in the next speech because you shouldn't have made it the one to see anything else cause an infinitely aggressive pride that destroys the potential for debate. Now, on your response, you say there's degrees of difference in the violence. Yes, we understand that degrees of difference in domination still concedes the authority of our framework doesn't class consequential. So at worst, this just means that our framework is a side constraint of what consequence matter in the first place. Now, on your categorization argument 8 point, this is the definition of what we say is bad. To categorize and try and identity is bad. There exist degrees of categorization, but our framework makes a claim that we should destroy these forms of categorization and affirm the beauty of our essence as being B point. We allow for some distinction between ages, but this is only in the forms that different forms of matter hold essence in different ways. This does not deny our fair share singularity and just instigates more authority of our framework. Now, okay, first. No interior criticism, we're not the state, we're making demands on the state now. B point is worse than an individual agent, i.e. having a perspective on what the state should cross-apply this to their actors has to be the argument. B point. Second argument is that perm duly affirmative as a method of alternative or act as a method of engaging in counter-capitalist activities. We are engaging in acts that tear down the walls of domination that prop up the state apparatus war machine that has fed things like imperialism in the past. Now, the net benefits crossfire Schaefer evidence, the alternative can't account for the vibrancy of individual people under it. Only our affirmatives able to translate your theory into material practice. Now, there's no solvency on the alternative, it's vague. Cross-ex proves you know material strategy that you endorse, you say reject capitalism, but that doesn't provide any tangible resistance strategy that can take place outside of it. Now, your evidence have an 8 point, it doesn't have a warrant, don't let them contextualize it to the topic, because that's just bullshit. If they are coming to the round robin, they should have done prep and cut a real link to the topic. Now, on your cap argument, crossfire evidence B point is that it's consequential to somebody when that goes away. Now, the world valid 8 point is it's arbitrary, it's arbitrary, doesn't have a warrant to pedagogy or framing outweighs this. We'll win this on the okay, so B point is that B point is being the very model you're engaging in. I reject the possibility of a synthesis methodology. The exact thing we're criticizing now with their weight case argument 8 point is that leads to a case against everything, anything else with 6 minutes and what is the often is best with the sense of methodology. Now in your also case, no, it doesn't. We've already won that argument. Now on the dissent. First, the central premise of the basis that is incorrect policies now the basic word Matthew and 18 most American people don't care. People have to go by different little conservative, little influence over opinion parties can undertake an ideological shift without jeopardizing influence. Second, is Trump's on dangerous when it's false conflict. Verse 17, the big stories have nothing to do with action, keeping the public attention away to a real socialistic cabinet motives, real warning, you can choose something simply to do really section for it. Now, Twitter solves all your diversionary impact argument. He'll just do it true and empirically proven by fact he's been off for a long time now. On link argument 8 point, your link is terrible. It doesn't give an interim award that's specific to our affirmative. Second, is turn any award thing places like the evidence super important and popular Trump space. You have not isolated warrant otherwise. Now on YouTube first. Crossfire Hansen evidence is conceded. Pedagogy more for the framework. Think of this like a TGF, no need to earn responsive. We've already classified that. We interrupt the Gardish model analysis like your curriculum of students ignoring the vibrancy of affect and learning means you should prioritize our discussion of affect. Because anything else allows for exclusion in space. Only our framework and the material skills that we roll this out ways. Because 8 point formulates a word specific that you as the judges and educators can evaluate arguments. Constituent of your being, even direct that your framework comes first in the space. Now YouTube fails first induction because something happened before this is going to happen again. Second, no aggregation by medical equal micro, no basis of affect and field down your first argument. Crossfire the argument to be made about your cross-application that our framework argument cross-apply them there. Also, we're not the government, so we don't have to be held to actor specificity. Also, on your over-argument, TJF's high time. Sorry.
What was the second use of option that you read?
Aggregation.
was the analytic like solvency defense or defense you found to disadd something about no warrant, something about
Yeah, so first, that your link is bad, and then second was a turn.
what's the term?
That the app is popular.
Oh, okay. Would be the MC, the
By NC, do you mean the util fragment?
the use of term, the disadd, the disadd, the K, then
Oh, yes.
Everyone good? Framing issue for the round DNC, the DNC frame frames what offense matters in the concept of the round. There's gonna be two wins there. You're gonna vote for me. I'm gonna win offense on this. I'm gonna win offense on this set independent reason DNC come first, but that's one route. Or you can vote off offense coming out of the cap K, which also is sufficient to vote on the DNC. I don't have to win the cap framing or the alternative to prove that the aphoristic the impacts of the K coming out there. The last argument, and all I have to do is be back this like root clause claim that they would bring the overview of the AC. And insofar as that, then it becomes a question to compare the offense when they don't contextualize their offense well enough under the NC, but absent this root cause blame, which means that I'm going to win the round on the NC proper. A couple of framing issues. First, the Bracey evidence is a direct response to the root cause argument and proves that reducing ethics to one theoretical principle that explains everything. It reifies the impacts, i.e. the domination that the AC talks about, which has a couple of implications. First, it's recent and for the NC framings. No response to Bracey means that their analytic like root cause argument doesn't make sense, and they haven't done enough interaction from their evidence. Second, it's turns are like 3 fiat role. The judge arguments within this context of the space. Sure, analyzing things like affect may be productive, but whenever you say that something like affect literally explains all causes of violence in every single instance of brutalization in the world, that's something that's proactively bad and reproduces something like violent discourse within the context of the world. Conceiving the Bracey evidence already lost you the round because it's independent reason why even if the validity, even if the concept of your framework is true, insofar as we care about something like consequences, i.e. I beat back your Calvin diets, util still can come first, second is the O part evidence, which has a couple implications, continuing personal identity and this psychological evidence. First, it takes like aggregation arguments to prove that we don't say like we should. It's not a question of like rogue counting number of people. Rather, it's a question of maximizing something like happiness, which means that we can generalize or we can understand that something like happiness exists amongst individuals, and therefore we try to have as much of that. We have to try to have as much of that. That means the second is it proves that our frameworks, in the context of like their functionality, aren't mutually exclusive. We can both agree that there's some inherent like sameness between individuals that exist. Rather, then the debate becomes a question of whether we should base ethics on that sameness or only on that sameness, or whether we should take it in things like specific context, etc., i.e. categorization or identification of individual bodies. Insofar as you concede my framing the last speech, so things like race, things like sex, etc., all those things matter when we take into account specific actions. If you think that argument is true, then it's a reason why, and that is the link differential between both of our frameworks, i.e. we're both going to say, oh, we solve or we attempt to explain what violence means, but insofar as they have not responded to this specific analysis about how understanding categories is necessary to deal with things like violence, and they haven't given a sufficient explanation as to why affect somehow explains every single instance of violence, and that's the reason you vote for me. Lastly, is that last circumstance the actor's response to induction fails. First, it's just bad defense against the entry. Even second, that also fails something like deduction failure, because it was the only reason we understand deductive because we've inductively learned and experienced on last year framework. It relies on things like naturalization and naturalistic policy, which interaction with the world. So it's inherently reliable induction, which means worst case scenario there's just an calculation against zero framework velocity is that the elastic after spec argument framing issues on that actual spec argument. Even if you don't win the Bracey analysis done in the last week's after spec, you conceded is the foremost framework justification, because even if your framework is true, even if it's 100% true for individuals, it doesn't apply to agents like governments. You say that you don't defend a government's portion of the resolution. Your actor is literally a government. When we're just you said you defend the United States in the plan 6 of the 1AC, which means that when we have that discussion, we have to tailor our framing specific to that specific actor. We wouldn't say Spinoza applies to a baby in the same way we wouldn't say Spinoza applies to a government. I say that only a government can be utilitarian. The only government can be utilitarian. You also can see that the fact that they've empirically been utilitarian denies your calcunites, which means that even if you think that their calcunites are true, it doesn't matter, because they've been denied by the calcunite arguments. It proves that insofar as this is the case, and it's the form of framing justification, I'm winning the round. Now, in terms of the disargument of framing showing the dissent, first you can see the Boston evidence. Even if you think that the framework is true, the risk of uncertainty, i.e. clash between our frameworks proves that the dissent come first, and risk of often on the critique of the dissent come first. So in terms of the actual unique term, you can see that the Trump piece is super high right now, and that when we have single Trump's given up on his basis, evidence is about in instances of Saudi Arabia, but you can see the concept that given that any sort of reduction in military aid triggers this response, i.e. Trump himself met with the president of Uzbekistan earlier this year in order to increase things like foreign investment, etc., which A, proves the link to the cap dissent, because it proves that the only reason Trump cares about investing and providing military aid to Uzbekistan is so for things like neoliberal policy. B is it proves the link to the disadvantage on your pieces of evidence, where your first argument doesn't really say much. It explains the concept of dissent. The second is that it says that something like ideology, or like voters only stick to ideology, but the argument is that the act is going to undermine Trump's ideology, or is going to cause it to be shifty, which means that even if your evidence is true, and the evidence just proves the dissent, because it proves that the president's shifting away from his ideology, which causes a loss of base support. And so far as that's conceded, it's just risk of an impact. Loss of base support causes diversionary trade war. You say Twitter solves this. It means that something like Twitter, Twitter is having a big story in order to resolve the impact of the second. The second is just for Burma evidence, because it's in the context of Trump and the way that responds to political movements and political destabilization. There's just a question of risk. It's a question of risk of offense on the calculate cost on the calculate cost by the internal. Like you say, your demand and say that doesn't make sense. But first, cost by like the Trump Uzbekistan analysis, the fact that you're using the state and engaging it without understanding the logic behind that state action means I get a risk to the cap impact. I cap causes things like natural disasters, extinction, etc., which means it's one is a question of comparative offense from the AC, which you haven't even extended the last speech, versus the offense from the cap and the dissent. I'm definitely winning under each of them.
The order is going to be framework. You're going to do like synthesis. You can just put on the cap. And then it's going to be the cave of the dissent.
So not to just put a signpost, actually.
Oh, actually.
actually, it's going to start with the affidavit. Okay, everyone ready?
The two are conceded our contention in the last speech, which means if we win defense on both the cafe and the dissent, even if they would you vote affirmative on try or die because we want a risk of some sort of impact on our evidence system. The thesis our affirmative military aid is an act of Western gave inoculation out of truth and paradigm of domination that justifies forms of material violence. Even if we win, and we can't win the explanation of every cause of violence, that doesn't dispute that domination has influence over certain material forms of violence. It's even if you and you two, we have material implications in the real world, I will contextualize it. The way in which people are able to murder someone else and things like that all come from a mindset of domination, which only resolved by our affirmative. Now, on the Utah proper debate. We're going for our TJF argument. You basically conceded in the last speech with our possible application of our Hansen evidence to prove that we asked the judge to transcend the Cartesian model of analysis opposed to modeling in favor of transpolarity. This asks you to prioritize discussion of affect in the space. So you've conceded both words. First is ultimately this can make debate accessible to all populations. Our framework interrogates the way that things like affective exclusion happen in this space. Before it is you conceded that we place a warrant consistent of you as judges and education evaluate this round. This comes first. And even if their ethic is true, you as a judge should prioritize our affective discussion. We framed it as an obligation to what your specific obligations in agent are. Now, your response is first to set our very evidence hijacks this. At any point, you can consider argument that the very evidence doesn't have a warrant. Also, the way you extend it is not what the very evidence says at all. It just says that policy making, we shouldn't obfuscate our understanding of policy making, but that doesn't A, indict the root cause debate, or B, suggest any reason why your framing of coming for pedagogy says we should care about policy. Our pedagogy argument doesn't mean we can't talk about policy, it's just a side constraint on how we do that in the first place. Now, your overall argument doesn't hijack our TJF argument because we got before, because that just proves your ethic is true, but doesn't necessarily prove that how the judge is a evaluation by the down to active specificity. You saying that you misunderstand our advocacy. We are an individual person making reflection what the government should do. This is not being the government, we don't help the government. Even if we are, we'll defense on their off. Now on the K. First, you've conceded that there's no warranty link evidence. Even if you say that Trump is only engaging countries for profit, that doesn't mean that he should continue to engage in those countries in the first place. We've won that the act of military badness imposes subjectivity on people and denies even interrelation item to be sufficient. They didn't even really extend the impact, which is far. You shouldn't do that work for them. Also, as far as for winning any mandatory defense on the just said that to be sufficient. Also, they've conceded the permutation and didn't think the alternative to that is sufficient to resolve the link permutation of the affirmative method. If the alternative that resolves any residual link is they've conceded. Now, on the dissent proper. First, you've conceded our argument that the base dissent is empirically denied, i.e. Trump's flip-flopped all over his policy making, which proves that there's no risk of an impact whatsoever because flipped up all the place. You've also conceded that your link evidence is terrible. You've just attended straight through our argument that your evidence just says that Trump has said he likes Saudi Arabia, but that doesn't indicate anything about his base, which means all we need to win is a risk of defense that his base won't care. Except our Matthews evidence, which says that Trump's base doesn't care at all about his policies. You misunderstood the argument. Our argument is that Trump's base just cares about Trump because they're straight out racist. They don't care what specific policy he's doing as long as he continues to stay absorbed in things. This proves mandatory defense. Overview. He's conceded the act convention. We've won defense on both of his off. We've won the perm on the alternative, also in no link. He's conceded empirically denied on the facts, as well as no warranty.